Hi there, and welcome to a relatively short interior car cleaning guru video where I'll be showing you how to safely clean an infotainment screen using a super soft brush, a super plush towel and some super sticky antiseptic slime. Although displays in cars are nothing new, dedicated infotainment screens have been steadily making their way into modern motors for a number of years now, and being a piece of kit that draws plenty of attention, it's worth looking at how to properly clean them. Unless you're a really mucky pup, you'll likely just be dealing with dust and fingerprints the majority of the time, and while neither of these are particularly taxing to remove, doing so in a manner which won't scratch the relatively soft screen can be. While I'm happy to work over the majority of interior surfaces with a vacuum dusting tool, these are far too coarse for use on expensive infotainment screens, so usually switch over to a soft brush like this detail factory item, which can be used to safely dust them off without scratching. A plush item like this is also great for gently cleaning off any other interior gubbins, and to be honest is what it's more appropriate for. However, I thought I'd include it as an option for maintaining the surface of infotainment screens too. Next up is the slightly tongue-in-cheek use of some cyber slime, which, as well as devouring unsightly dirt particles 1950s blob style, supposedly eliminates 90% of germs too. While incredibly gimmicky, it does actually work at lifting light dust and debris from the hard-to-reach nooks and crannies of a car's interior, and while it's far better suited to being oozed over those areas, I thought I'd give it a go on the display too. To be fair, it did shift most of the dust particles, but in return left a horrible greasy film behind, which obviously wouldn't do. Still, it was a useful exercise in illustrating the unseen residue you'd unwittingly be covering things in if you did choose to use it on your interior instead of a brush or towel. If your infotainment screen has a bit more than light dust on it, then you're going to have to make contact to actually remove whatever's contaminating it. There's a myriad of dedicated screen wipes available for this, and while they generally do a decent job at cleaning the surface in a single step, they're not the safest option in my opinion. It's a bit like drying the exterior of a car with a damp chamois. It does the job, but there's nowhere for stray dirt particles to go should they get caught up, so generally I'd advise reserving these kinds of wet wipes for either your baby's backside or your fingers following an in-flight meal. A nice plush towel is your best friend in terms of infotainment screen cleaning safety, and when paired with a good glass cleaner, which incidentally is perfectly safe to use on displays like these, should do the most thorough job in the safest way possible. While I usually reserve these particular towels for final buffing of exterior paintwork, I also keep a few handy for use on soft scratch-prone interior surfaces because you don't get much plusher. It's better to apply the glass cleaner directly onto the towel and gently work it over the surface to safely remove the dirt before giving one last gentle buff to remove any stray particles. So, while I could have just said from the start to use a plush towel and some glass cleaner, where would the fun be in that? Also, I wanted to visibly discount some of the other methods to help show why the latter is the best. While there's nothing wrong with having things like tech wipes and cyber slime handy to maintain certain areas of a car's interior, I just personally keep them away from what is one of the most prominent and visible features of the inside of a modern motor. The only other thing you could perhaps do to preserve an infotainment screen would be to periodically blast it off with some compressed air. However, I'm not a huge fan of doing this, as you're essentially just displacing the dust particles to somewhere else in the car. A soft brush or towel which will hold on to those dust particles is, in my opinion, a far better option. So hopefully that was of some help to those of you with cars rocking TFT screens. The same techniques can be used for things like radio fascias and gauge clusters, so even if you're currently infotainment free, you still might benefit from having a tarty makeup brush or pot of ectoplasm in your centre console. Thanks for watching, and see you again soon.